There is a one other type of the mechanism or process or authentication available. It is known as a Kerberos server. So Kerberos is a very interesting things where is a three parts. One is a client server and K distribution center. K distribution center means distributing the key are used for unlocking your home, right? Similar key are used for unlocking services for you. So what the process is happened here, this is the actually user, and this user request for the login. So based on the login means it will ask the username and password, means it will be generate some mechanism and then create a ticket granted, TGT. So it will available like user 01 having the password this and time is this, and then it will have the ticket there. And the next time it will use the same ticket to the application server, and then application server will make the available of this ticket based on their ticket. If their ticket is available for accessing the SH, so SH will be available for this user. If the ticket is saying this is the for the web application, so this user can use the web service running on this application, means data can be transferred. So authentication service, which is providing the ticket, granting the ticket, and ticket granting service used for this ticket to log in on the application service. These the basic mechanism happened over the Kerberos server. The next is a digital certificate and PKI. What is the digital certificate? Actually, we have discussed about the CIA. What is the CIA? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So on the integrity, when data is traveling from one computer to another computer, is necessary the data must be encrypted. So when the data will be encrypted, nobody can access the data, nobody can modify the data. So all this data encryption and decryption securing the communication over the network can be used by the digital certificate. So digital certificate having the information about the public key. And what is the public key? Public key is used for the encryption and for the decryption. Public key is used for the encryption and the decryption. When the encryption is used means like my browser, I want to log in. Already you have heard about the SSL, we have discussed. TLS, we have discussed. SSL and TLS are working on the digital certificate. So digital certificate have the information of the public key, which is used for the cryptography, and this cryptography known as a asymmetric encryption. So in a asymmetric encryption, for the encryption different key is used, for the decryption the different key is used. On the client side, this key known as a public key, and on the server side, this key known as a private key. So public key used for the encryption and the private key is used for the decryption, to maintaining their confidentiality and maintaining their integrity. And also it is used for the authentication, means authentic of the data. Because when I use the private key and encrypt the data, so only you can decrypt the data because you have the private key. So later on I cannot deny I did not send this data. It is called authentication, means signature, digital signature, known as a digital signature. So the complete infrastructure known as a public key infrastructure. So public key is wrapped with the digital certificate signed by the CA. What is the CA? CA is a certificate authority. Every certificate must be authorized by the CA. If the client trusts the CA, they can also trust that certificate is valid. Okay? And also the value of the subject, which is having the certified holder, user or the server, all the information. So already I have told you how you can see the certificate value, and I am just going to wrap it again. Like this is the virus total. Here is the lock padlock. You just click on this and click on the secure connection. And when click on the security valid, you can find out here is a certificate issued by means CA. Digicert, TLS, RSA, and this is the CA1. Okay. So this is the information of the CA, and here is the fingerprints. And also when you go on a detail, so you will get the value of the public key. Here the public key. This is the public key which is used for the encryption and the decryption. Okay. So your public key, another public key will be different. So another is a Extensible Authentication Protocol and IEEE 802.1x. So where this type of the authentication or the Extensible Authentication Protocol used, these are protocol is used in a NAC. NAC. What is the NAC? Network Access Control. Who is controlling the network accessibility? Network accessibility means who will be authorized to access this network and who are not authorized to access this network. And this type of the authentication happened on the based on the e-poll packets. E-poll packets means when any client, wireless client, want to connect with the Wi-Fi router. Router means where the enterprise WPA2 are used. Then all the process happened, and this is validated by the radius server. So all this communication happened over the encrypted channel. It is called all this happened with the help of the Extensible Authentication Protocol. So authentication protocol also used when you are connecting to the switch, connecting to the any network device, maybe the switch, maybe the router, maybe the WAP. So EAP is working within it. So EAP, or it is actually based on the AAA server. So what is the AAA? Authentication, authorization and accounting. Authentication means it will be authenticated by the radius server. Authorized, which you can authorize. For the example, there is a 100 switch in the network. So you are authorized only to access the 10 switches. So you can access only 10 switch. You cannot access the 100 switches. There is another user 2, which can access another 10 to 20 switches. Another user 03 will access the 21 to 30. So these are the only user can access, authorize only access the particular switch number and name. And also the accounting will be maintained. Accounting means what the user are doing on the switch, like what type of the configuration he is doing, what type of the configuration they have changed, modified the configuration, enable configuration, what are the commands the user had run. So all these things will be recorded. Accounting, that is called AA architecture. There is a two architecture, one is a TACACS server, another is a radius server. One is a TACACS server, another is a radius server. So a radius server, which is actually used for the wireless network. wireless network. Okay, and TACACS server are used for the accountability of the switch, network devices, switch and router, and firewall etc. Okay, so these are the process happened over the encrypted channel. This is called Extensible Authentication Protocol. So radius server we have discussed. Radius server generally used for the wireless access point or the authentication for the wireless client. For the example, you are accessing the mobile phone. Then you need to enter, you will access any website, like any website, any location 192.168.1.0.10 or 11 and port number 88888888. Once you will connect with this wireless access point by using your password, but you will not able to access the internet. Then you access this location where you will enter your username and the password. After entering the username and password, you will be able to log in and the internet will start working. In a colleges, in a universities, this authentication mechanism are used. I think you are familiar with this. Okay, another is a terminal access control system, TACACS server. So this server generally used for the accessing control of the terminal access. So what the terminal you will access? By using the SSH, by using the telnet. These services are used for accessing the terminal, and for which device you will access remotely or terminal means switch, router and other device like firewall and something. So you can access this TACACS server. So this TACACS server used to authenticate to the network, switches and router. Then use the TCP for the connection, maintaining the connection, not UDP. So better support for the fine-grained authorization policy, and this is also the AAA server, means authentication, authorization and accountability. One more thing is here, which is actually this service are used for sharing the directory in the network. It is called Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, LDAP. So this LDAP looks like here the two things. One is a attributes. This is the OU attribute, CN is a attribute, and here is a value. So which user can access the which particular folder. Means like there is a 10 computers inside your network, and all the computer had shared some folder. All the 10 computer have shared. So you can check out on the LDAP where it is listing in a directory format. Like this is shared, this is shared, this is shared, and all these things can be accessed. So this is the list of the network users and their resources. Their resources means what they have shared in the network for everyone. Another is a access control list, means which can be accessed and which can be controlled. Authorization. Directory base is a objective and based on the objects and attributes. And similar like these are used X.500 for the providing the name like CN Bravo Jammy, UU admins, corporation, DC is a .com. All these things can be shared like this. Okay, so lightweight generally working on the unsecure, but it can be do the secure by using some methods. It have the simple authentication matching using the username and password. This can be also implement over the authentication and security layer. It is called SASL. And also LDAP can be run over the TLS, transport layer security, and using the port number 636. And there is a two types of the policy, which one is a read only, another is a read and write. Read only policy will allow the user only the read data from the file, and read and write, you can read or user can read and write the data.